Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the call. This is going to be a cracking call here tonight. A real powerhouse panel here this evening. And whilst we let a few stragglers come in, we will welcome a few of you to the call. Great call tonight. Good evening, everyone. This is a fantastic 90 people here in the waiting room. Guys, this is going to be an absolutely brilliant call. Before I introduce our special guest, though, welcome to our participants, our viewers. Lots of people here tonight, lots of energy. Let's kick it off, folks. Tonight, three very powerful men, three great friends of mine. I've only just gotten to know the youngest here. I'll introduce him shortly, but we're talking about, in particular, health, wealth, purpose, community, and how to rise above the agenda that we currently are all facing. Right? We are in very turbulent times in the world. And there's a lot of doom scrolling going on, a lot of people who don't know what to do, but we have found solutions. And I'm talking to three men here tonight who have shown what is possible when you have the right vehicle, when you have the right mindset, and when you have the right support network, which is incredibly important as well. So the first guest on our panel tonight, he's a former landscaper. He's radically changed his life in the last 5 years. It took him about 3 years to create financial freedom in the online world. And what he specializes in now is teaching men how they can transition from traditional business, traditional careers to this online world, which has been called digital gold rush. He is absolutely crushing it with this. He's a mentor and a leader to countless men. The one and only Daniel Bissaker. How are you, Dano?
So good, Davo. So stoked to be here.
Yeah, but Dano, so grateful for everything that you've helped me with in the last 12 months. Not just an incredible friend, but an incredible mentor. Someone who had my back when a lot of people didn't. I copped a lot of flack over the last couple of years for being pretty outspoken. And for those of you who don't know, in our organisation, Dano is he's now our most senior 6A in this organisation, but he is an absolute champion, and everything he's got to share with you tonight, lock it in and listen closely because his mentoring is changing lives. Our second guest, he has hit the top rank in our organisation in record time. He's known as the Conscious Carnivore. He's based up on the sunny coast as well. He's the dad for the second time now, I believe. I think he's still muted, and is leading men in this incredible brotherhood to bring men back to health, wealth, and purpose. I have so much respect for this man. He's teaching men how to get back on their feet and find a better way. Mr. Jordan Potts, how are you, brother?
Mate, I'm fantastic. I'm fired up. I am absolutely fired up. To see this many people on the call, it fills me with energy knowing that there's people looking for better options in today's world. It's so clear that things aren't optimal right now. And when people start looking and becoming curious, that's when the world opens up. So I'm pumped, brother, because this opportunity has changed my life like you wouldn't believe. It's incredible.
Man, seeing what you've done in the last 6 months, Jordan, has changed a lot of people's lives. You've shown what is possible when you are determined and when you don't make excuses. We're going to talk more about that later. It's just been phenomenally inspiring to see what you've done. And our final guest and our youngest guest here on the panel, he's just set the world on fire in the last 6 months with this company. He's only 18 years of age. Recently, he was working as a labourer and was like, okay, there's got to be a better way. And in the last 6 months, has set some records in our company and really inspiring a whole generation of young men and young women, but in particular, young men, to find a better way, find solutions, and find prosperity and be part of a brotherhood. Welcome to the call, James Crews. How are you, James?
Good, mate. Firstly, I just want to say thank you so much for having me on. It's a true pleasure to be here tonight with you all, and every 100 of you that are on the call. I'm pretty sure it's at capacity as well because a few of the boys in my team are trying to join, but they can't join. So there you go. That just goes to show how powerful, what we've got in store for you tonight is going to be. But yeah, on behalf of all four of us here tonight, lock in because there's going to be a lot of golden nuggets. So can't wait to have a chat and get stuck in, brother.
Yeah, good to have you here, James. You've been phenomenally inspiring to me as well. I can only wish I saw this when I was your age, but you got some real gold for the young fellas and the old fellas and all age groups and genders and so on as well, everyone. But I'm going to kick off the call tonight with Dan Bissaker, because Dano, you've been around this space for the longest time, and it's been about 5-6 years now for you. You were a landscaper. You didn't have a social media presence. You didn't have a following. But I wanted to talk to you about your determination, because at what point did you get to where you were like, I have to find a better way? Dano?
Yeah, for sure, mate. And I had a quite successful landscape and design business here on the Sunshine Coast, and I was working on some incredible properties. And I was just kind of getting to the age where, I couldn't do it forever. And I was seeing other people have massive success online, and I was just open. I was open to checking out what was going on. I didn't want to do landscaping forever. I was starting to miss out of some important things in my family. I missed my daughter winning an Australian gold medal and broke an Australian record at swimming, and I was away working and I missed it. And so I just really started to look at what was going on, and I just dove all in. And it's been just gone 6 years with this incredible company, business, and community, and it's absolutely changed my life in a massive way.
Yeah, no, a lot of people, you've created true financial freedom in the last 5 years. A lot of people say money doesn't, make you happy. You can't buy happiness, this sort of stuff. What do you say to people like that? Because when you can have opportunities and you can have decisions and more choices and you can do so much more, how has it changed your life in that way?
Well, I know what it's like not to have, money in your bank. I remember, rocking up and working my ass off in my landscaping business, going to the fuel station and actually not having enough, money to fuel the truck up as I'm working, 40, 50, 60 hours a week and thinking, what is going on? This is not working. And so now, 6 years in, and it didn't take us 6 years to become financially free. It took us 10 months. Daniel and I hit the top rank another 2 more times. And then now 6 years in, having, financial freedom, but also time and location freedom was a big thing. Man, it just lifts the stress off your shoulders in a massive way. And so not only don't we have to worry about finances anymore, but we also get to help other people within what they want to do. The real purpose side of our business and community is what really lights me up. So my life looks a lot different now today. My health is dramatically better because I'm not stressed out about finances. I'm not, I'm eating the best, foods. I'm, looking after my sleep. I'm, taking the morning routine and going to the beach and, spending some time, for myself. And then I get to spend my time with my family. And so, when I was burnt out, 5 or 6 years ago to today is a massive change.
Yeah, incredible, man. And I think it's so interesting for the call tonight that we have so many different age groups covered, because you're a smart guy and a very hard worker. And you came across this business in your late 40s, you're now in your early 50s. And all your life you had worked your butt off and hadn't got where you wanted to be, because the traditional plan just doesn't get you where you need to be, right? And I want to bounce over to Jordan now, because he's come across this business in his late 20s and has a pretty similar story, but at a different age, right? Jordan, could you speak to some of the other businesses that you had tried to do, because you put your heart and soul into some stuff, and tell us what that was like to you before you came across this community?
Oh, I don't know about anyone on the call, but I'd ask you a question first of all. How many times have you thought about making money? All right, you're sitting at a job. I owned a gym and I was working my ass off. As a business owner, I just never switched off. And we were doing incredible revenue in that business. However, as a profit margin for me and my partner, we weren't making ends meet. We were searching for coins in the couch to get food, and we value organic food, so it wasn't easy to live the life that we wanted. Now, I was in the space of business coaching and health coaching, and I could see all these people online absolutely killing it. They were doing e-com, they were doing drop shipping, they were doing merchandise, all these kind of different opportunities, crypto trading. And so I got to a point where I realized that I wasn't going to spend my life with my family, with my kids, if I was always working for my business. And so we made the hard decision to sell our business, something that we'd built over 7 years, and go all in online. I just decided we're going to move to Bali, we're going to all in online. So I poured so much money into drop shipping, e-commerce. I tried to start a clothing line. I bought a heap of NFTs, got smoked in the NFT world. And I was just thinking, I know it can be done. I know it can be done. People are doing this every day. You see it. I was seeing it. I'm thinking, fuck, how do I go online and create freedom? Anyway, I ended up going back to coaching. And then even in coaching, I found myself not having the freedom in that business. I was still I wasn't leveraging my time, and I was still working time for money. And so when this opportunity landed in my lap, it made so much sense to me, because it's a business that I can leverage value, and then over time I can create time freedom. And I just knew, as soon as I looked at it, I looked at the compensation plan, I looked at the company, I looked at the track record, and I thought, mate, I'm just tapping into $1 billion business here, and I get to be the middleman, and I can help the people with their health, which is a massive core value for me. And I can help others create income as well. Why would I not go all in on this opportunity? So I'm someone who burns the boats. I don't do things in halves. So I burnt the boats, and within 4 months I hit the top rank. And that's not it. That's not even the beginning. We're so far. I'm so far from my goals. And so I'm going all in on this and truly going to change the world. And I know every person that has that mentality and they actually want to change their lives, that I cannot find a better opportunity than this.
What, Jordan, was your main motivation? Obviously you had worked your butt off on other business models and so on. What was the driving force when you saw this? You didn't just come in, like, where did the urgency and the fire come from?
My children. Absolutely my children. I got to see my dad on Sundays. That's it. He worked 60, 70, 80 hours a week. We struggled financially as a family. I've not come from money. And so I saw my childhood repeating out, but now from the father archetype. I saw myself not getting ahead, not being able to be there and being around for my son. And so I had to make a decision. I can either repeat the pattern of the masses, or I can actually use my mindset to learn skills and create a whole new world. And I knew people were doing it. That's the biggest thing, Dave. We're seeing people every day. We're just 4 of the hundreds of thousands of people who are leveraging the online space. And so you just have to be the next one. It's just a decision that you have to do, or you make the risk of following the masses. And the statistics for me are not pretty at all. I didn't want a single bar of the normal statistics.
Jordan, you struck a nerve for me there. I remember I never saw my dad, never saw my dad as a kid. He was so busy working. He was a builder, and he was out the door 5:30 in the morning, and he was home late, and he was too buggered to do much, and I look back, and the lack of his presence in my life probably still affects me today. He never even had the time to really sit me down and give me those father-son talks that were probably really important, because he was just too busy and too exhausted. He was so, because he came from a poor country, right? He was born in South America. And before I pass over to James, I'd just love you to touch on a little bit about some of your mission for men, because as dads, can you talk to us a bit about being a present father and why you work with so many men to bring them back in the home and get them out of the traffic and get them out of the grind where they shouldn't necessarily, they don't necessarily have to be if they don't want to.
Yeah, brother, it's such an important point, and it's a very good question as well. And the way I look at it is, our dollar's been decimated. If we go back 50, 60, 70 years, working a job, you could make a decent income, you could buy a home, you didn't have to do overtime, you could put food on the table, you could take the family away on holidays. The male could have a normal job and support his family. But where we are at now, with the dollar being so far decimated and inflation and rise of living, cost of living being through the roof, now we're seeing both parents having to work to even keep their head above water, pay rent, afford good food, even take the kids on a holiday. That doesn't really exist anymore. People are struggling. And so for men, we can either be the victim and say, oh, work so hard, I got to work more hours, I got to work harder. Or you can switch your mentality and say, I'm going to apply my hard work ethic to a smarter vehicle. And that's all I knew I needed to do as a man and as a provider. All I had to do was switch and pivot, not work so hard in this lane and start working fucking hard in this lane, and it's going to pay off in a different way. And I can guarantee you, any man who's got a solid mindset and a work ethic can crack this off. And with the support that we're giving, mate, you cannot lose. That's what's so exciting, is that men are just going to thrive. They already are.
I'm just getting a little bit of background feedback from someone, but killer points, Jordan. I'm going to pass over to this young rock star. He's just come on, he's just burst onto the scene. If admin can try and find who's somehow unmuted themselves, that would be great. Just getting some feedback there. But this young gun's coming into the business. He's 18 years of age. he was a labourer in the construction industry. He was like, "That's not much fun." Sorry, it's actually James, it might be your mic.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. Is that
Yeah,
better?
I think so. Yeah, that is better.
All right, let's go.
But James, what has happened? Talk us through what you were doing 6, 8 months ago, and this business has landed in your lap. Tell us about your mindset, what you saw, what your emotions were, and how you've
Yeah.
achieved some incredible success in a short period of time.
Yeah,
James.
so I guess taking it back, 12 months ago now, still being in school, there was a lot of chit chat around, the year 12, graduating class and things like that of what trade are you going to do? What university course are you going to study? And I was never, ever in that conversation. I never had an interest in doing that sort of stuff. And I knew that I wanted that time freedom and location freedom for myself. So yeah, as I was saying, it was never in that conversation. And then
Tell me why. How did you know you were never in that conversation? Because I got sold that deal. I went into uni, 4 years at uni,
yeah,
got sucked into that part. Just tell us a little bit why it didn't resonate with you for starters.
I don't know, just because I don't know, I've just never fit in with the crowd. I always knew exactly what I wanted, and I had a clear vision from a very young age. I used to look up to people like Imam Ghazi, Luke Belmar, all these successful individuals, and now I'm at the point where I look up to people like Dan, people like Brody Nitro, Jack Riddell, people like that who are successful in the entrepreneurial space, and jumped into labouring with my uncle just to keep my head above water, and that was never for me, to be brutally honest. And then, scrolling one Friday afternoon on TikTok and came across an ad. I thought, what's the worst that can happen? I put my details in and nothing comes of it. And, threw my details in and, the rest is history. Went through the process and never looked back. So that's a bit about, how I've been able to get into the business. But in terms of, getting to where I am today, it just comes down to hard work. And, as Jordan spoke about before, putting your hard work into something that is going to work and, has the results to show. So, for me, I was working 10, 12-hour days on the job site, right? I was putting so much hard work, so much time, effort, into that. But as soon as I switched my focus over to the online space and I realized how quickly you can actually scale the Enagic business, everything took off for me. I kept showing up every single day and working on my personal development, which we're going to speak about later in the call. But yeah, now I am where I am here at 6A and only just warming up, as Jordan said. So yeah, we're only just getting started, brother.
James, it's awesome to hear you, man. And, it's so refreshing to hear it come from someone from your age group, right? You're not even 19 yet. I believe you turned 19 in Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas Day, yeah.
And, most 18-year-olds, and I think our generation has a perception that, your generation are out there just locked on social media, partying, getting high, whatever. That's not the case, though. I've seen some of your content and, the guys you're hanging around with. You guys are hustling. Talk to us about what's going on in your circle of men.
Yeah, so for me, firstly, I've never stepped foot in a pub, a club. I've never smoked. I've never done drugs. I've probably the last time I drank was probably 2 years ago now. So I don't touch any of that sort of stuff. And, that really improves my mindset and, increase my personal development journey very quickly. In terms of, the people that I hang around, if you show me your 3 friends, I can show you your future. And that's such a true statement. I guarantee you the people that, yourself, David, Dan, Jordan, the people that you hang around, you guys are exact examples of them, and these boys who I hang out with are all in Enagic. Every single one of them are in Enagic. Jack Riddell, who's just about to be a 6A2, and a lot of boys who are 6A as well. And they've taught me some incredible values and work ethic. They've got me up at 4 a.m. now. I'm up 4 a.m. doing a 45-minute drive down to Coolangatta to do an active session, which is like a gym class, and go for coffees, go for walks, runs. They've got me into reading, podcasts, all those sorts of little 1%ers that have literally skyrocketed my business. And I cannot stress to each and every one of you on this call how important those little 1% habits are, and those little shifts in mindsets, with your reading and your podcasts and doing the little 1% things. They're so critical. And having a strong circle of men around you are going to lift you up every single day and show you what is truly possible in this business.
Yeah, well said, James. Well said. Look, I know we can't make.
Can I chime in there for a second, brother?
Yeah, please, Jordan. Go ahead.
So, James, what's so inspiring, brother, is you've just finished school, right? Now, it's pretty obvious that the traditional system would, as we've spoken about, force you into school or uni. But with the exposure to social media these days, and this is the leverage that we've got. You're seeing guys like Luke Belmar, the Tate brothers, you know, the Belmar brothers themselves, both of them. And then Iman Ghazi, like you said, you're seeing these young guys who all they've done is learn the skills of the new generation and applied it to smarter vehicles.
Correct.
And
Correct.
there's so many examples, not even in the young space. I mean, it's incredible. I know there's going to be a massive wave of the new generation coming out of school and questioning uni, questioning a trade, questioning getting a desk job and just working for 40, 50, 60 years for, you know, 40 or $60 an hour or something, because our system's crumbling. And so you can either go down with the sinking ship and hang on and go, no, I'm not changing my ways, and take the ship to the bottom, or you can go first class to the fucking top, wherever you want to go. And all it comes down to is whether you're willing to adapt to the current times. Now, I think about it like the digital gold rush. We go back a few generations ago, there was gold rush. So the men who picked up the picks, picked up the axes, picked up the sieves, and went and found the gold, they created incredible wealth. But there would have been people, the masses, who sat on their asses and went, I'll never find gold. I couldn't be bothered doing that. I've got to travel this many miles. It's not proven for me to find gold. Why would I give up my job? But who got the gold? The fucking gold diggers, the guys who picked up the pickers and went, I'm going to do it. And so where we're at now, there's so much opportunity for men, especially men, because when we apply our masculine energy and we apply our mindset and our hard work ethic, we can become a provider that generations previous had no idea, no opportunity to even grasp. And you're going to let it slip because you want to hang on to the sinking ship.
Jordan, on that, you've worked with a lot of men, right? The last couple of years, like last several years, yeah?
Thousands.
Tell me, how much, in your opinion, does a man's inability to financially provide, how much does that affect a man's self-esteem and confidence?
Oh, fuck. Let's not go. I don't think we have to go there. Let's go straight to the relationship. It'll end families. You'll end up single parent households. You'll end up with kids that, you know, you don't have solid relationships with. You know, you have to consider the risk of not becoming financially free. You have to consider the statistics. Now, it's not guaranteed, but financial struggle is real. Now, I was actually faced with that. My partner said to me, she's like, if you can't figure out how to provide, I'm going to have to find a man that can.
Oh, what did that feel like?
Fuck, there was one part of me that was raging and wanted to flip the script, and there was another part that had to own it and go, look, it's my family, it's my responsibility. If I can't provide, I actually don't deserve it. I don't deserve it. So that's where your mindset has to come in. What are you going to do? Be a victim? Poor me? Fuck that. Take the bull by the horns and learn skills. The thing with adults is we get so stuck in thinking you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Just put them in a new environment and they'll adapt. We are master adapters. The human being, the human mind can adapt to anything, but we're not conditioned to believe that.
Bro, I want to speak to that a little bit more and bounce over to Dan on environment, right? Because what you've started with Dan, and particularly with Dan starting this, I guess, this whole network that we brought in, is environment. And James alluded to it before as well. It's proximity and the people around you, and this brotherhood that's growing. And if for any ladies on the call as well, I don't want you to feel excluded by this call. But men are in a bad way in this country. And Dan, what you've been doing working with men, now you've started this whole thing and you've watched it grow and impact lives. How important is it? Because, you know, on your own, like, it's so hard. Life's so freaking hard on your own. You're left to your own head, you're left to your own devices, left to your own bad habits and so on. You know, for me, Dan, you picked me up when I was pretty down and out. I was pretty flat 12 months ago. You know, I'd been bashed up by the system. I'd been trolled by the mainstream media. I'd had my bank accounts frozen. I'd had all sorts of catastrophe going on. I was pretty much black pilled, right? I was like, the world's fucked. we're in a bad way here. And you're like, come on, Davo, we got something. You know, you lit me up again. 12 months later, my life's different. I've done 4 international trips. I've got myself out of the construction industry, back on my feet. I'm aging in reverse. I'm about to turn 50 in 2 days. I'm like, bring it on. No one believes me.
Let's go.
I'm like, let's fucking go. I'm just warming up. You know what I mean? I feel like a plant. I was like a dead plant and someone poured good water on me. And I've come back to life. But I've come back to life because I'm around good people. You know what I mean? People who are fired up and who aren't just, you know, concerned about what may or may not happen. They're rather than worry about the future, they're creating the future. I was like, that's what I need. So speak to us about that, Dano, how important proximity is, because being around you has been a game changer for me.
100%. You know, proximity is power. And, you know, I tried to lone wolf it for so long. I tried to, you know, work those extra hours. I tried to provide for my family all by myself. And once I understood leverage, once I understood working smarter, not harder, and to be able to have a business model that could work 24/7 whilst I was on holidays, whilst I was asleep, I had a business model that ran in the background. So surrounding myself around people that had the results that I wanted, and that I just knew that I was going to be the average of the 5 people that I surrounded myself around most. And so I just got in the rooms of the people that had the results that I wanted, and I just did what they did, said what they said, and eventually I got what they got. So if you're a smart person, you're in the wrong room. Get in room with people that are successful. Get in rooms with people that have the life and lifestyle that you want. Get surrounded around people that can show you step by step what to do. And you should see, you know, Jordan's brotherhood, what he's been able to create within his network of people within the NAGIC is friggin' next level. This brotherhood is on fire. These guys are taking this business to the moon, and they're taking a lot of other men and lifting up the, you know, pulling back the curtain on mental health. It's lighting me up. It's really, you know, put some fuel on my fire. Like, yeah, man, I had a fire when I was, you know, cracking this business, you know, through the lockdowns, and I pivoted, and Daniel and I created some financial freedom. But Jordan and the other men have tipped this friggin' fuel on top of my fire, and it's going crazy. So I say to everybody on this call, man, you know, link arms with people that you want to do life and business with. And guess what happens? The ripple effect will be incredible. Not only will your life change in a massive way, but the ripple effect will go onto the people around you. The people that surround you will be on fire as well. And the best part about us and our family is it's that ripple effect's gone on to our children. And that's what I love. My fire is now inside my kids. My kids have up-leveled in their lives. My daughter went back to university and got a degree, and now she works at the best veterinarian clinic in Brisbane. My other daughter, you know, she went and got a Bachelor of Business and Marketing, and the kids are powering. And we're seeing the 2 young boys, you know, get better grades at school. And it's all because we're surrounding ourselves around the right kind of people. We've got the right kind of information. We know what's going on all around the world. And we just have got a proven path to success. And we've just partnered with a company that is now $1 billion a year success story. And man, we're just riding on the tailcoats of this company, and we're just warming up.
I love it, Dano. I love it. Jordan, just going to bounce back to you before I bounce back to James, but tell us a bit, Jordan, about, you know, late 20s now. You're probably not far off 30.
31, brother.
31. Sorry, bro. I thought you were 29. Where did I get 29 from?
Just the other day, cracked 31.
Oh, you cracked 31. 31, right? And, you know, they say midlife is around, they typically say, oh, midlife's around 50. Well, maybe not. Midlife's actually around your 30s, right? Because the average age is, for most people, we're not average, you know, we would expect to live a lot longer. But, you know, 30s is a really critical time. For anyone on the call who's around your sort of age bracket, that proximity, late 20s, early 30s and so on, what's your vision now moving forward? You know, there's almost 20 years difference between you and I and Dan. You know, I wish I had seen this when I was your age, and I wish I had the mentoring and mindset. You know, this is the thing, if anyone's listening to this, we don't get the time back. You know what I mean? I can't go back in time. I've had a couple of really powerful moments of reflection, you know, the last couple of days in particular, because I'm about to turn 50. I'm like, how did that happen? Where's the time gone? And I just hope people can understand what it's worth to be at your age and be in the proximity of someone like yourself and James and Dan, to be around incredible mentors at such a young age. Because where do you see this taking us, you know, yourself and your family and your community for the future? What's your vision, if you can share that with us?
Oh, look, plain and simple, brother. I just think you've got 2 options in life. You can cruise and regret it, or you can go all in and truly be fulfilled. And I was fortunate enough to nearly die at 23. So I woke up out of a coma and realized that I had to give life a crack. So I probably had a crisis much earlier than people have them in their 40s or their 50s. Now, that was a blessing in disguise, because after that moment of a near death, I realized that I had to give this a crack. I had to give it a nudge. I'd been broke. I'd been on drugs. I'd been, you know, depressed, suicidal, and it was not a good life. So I decided to have a crack. Now, coming full circle to this opportunity years later, with the skills and the experience I've developed and now being able to apply it to help others win, I know at minimum we'll do $180 million in the next 10 years. At minimum. Our target is actually 654 million in 10 years, and that's 30,000 people. It's a no-brainer. It's already done. With the value that's coming, especially with how the world's changing, when people choose to actually take control of their lives, they have no idea what's ahead of them. Because I'm quite clear that if you don't take control of your life, I know what's ahead. I know what's coming. It's not getting better. Cost of living is going to continue to go up. They're not just instantly going to halve the prices of food and rent and houses. So it is so necessary that people actually think bigger about what it is that you want for your life, because you're going to end up in your 50s. You're going to end up in your 70s. You're going to end up in your 90s and think, fuck, did I actually have a crack at this? Or did I just sit on my hands contemplating what would go wrong? All right. For me personally, I'm not here to think about what could go wrong. I'm here to just create what I want. So that's what I'm fired up about. And, you know, it's the proximity is massive. Look at James's crew, look at Dan's crew, look at your crew. When you get in these rooms with people that you want to be like, it's inevitable. Change is actually inevitable.
Beautifully said, man. Could listen to you all night, bro. I love it. James, give us a bit of a snapshot. You've seen this thing, 18 years of age. You've grabbed the bull by the horns. You've clearly got an incredible headset on you, really sharp mindset, incredibly ambitious. What's your vision? You know, where do you see this taking you over the next 5 to 10 years? And what do you say to anyone who's listening to this as far as, you know, what's possible?
Yeah, so I guess first thing is the possibilities are uncapped. They're literally uncapped. So there's no limit, right? The sky's the limit with this business. So, you know, for me, I guess my big vision of, you know, I've had a chat with Jordan and things like that, and you know, I really look up to what he's doing with, you know, men's mental health and you know, the campaigns and things that he's running. So, you know, maybe in the next 3 to 5 years, look at something doing, you know, similar to that, because that's something I definitely aspire to. But you know, in terms of business wise, definitely clearing probably 5 mil a month by the time maybe around the 10-year mark. So by the time I'm 27, 28, I want to be doing about 50 to 80 million dollars a year. Obviously the tax man won't like me, but that's all good. It's all good and well. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I just want to build a big team. But I guess the main thing is to help as many people as I possibly can, you know, to help as many people as I possibly can experience the true freedom of life in all aspects, you know, financially, location, time, and you know, really show them the possibilities that, you know, life is a lot more than, you know, what people think it is. You know, they just think it's 9 to 5, mortgage, uni, you know, spend one holiday a year and then that's it. You know, there's so much more to life, and the boys have, you know, explained that in this call. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, this business is allowing people, you know, ordinary Aussies like ourselves to experience this sort of freedom. So I can't stress it enough how important it is to jump on board and you know, scale your business so quickly, because there's, you know, we've got all the strategies and all the systems in place. It's just, you know, if you work hard enough and you adapt, you know, to what your mentor is saying and you put what they're telling you in place, the results will look after themselves. And, you know, soon enough, before you even blink, you'll be in the position, you know, that us four boys are in now.
James, you touched on something there, which I'd love you to elaborate on before we start wrapping up the call. You've got this desire to help, right? And a lot of people think that's a cliche, I want to help people. But what have you seen in the help that you're able to provide in developing leaders, developing people's belief that what's possible? Because, you know, we live in a world that can be pretty cutthroat and pretty dog eat dog, but our business is very different. We actually mentor and develop and assist people to be successful. Where does your drive to help people come from?
Yeah, so I mean, I guess before I was doing the trade, I was doing a lot of coaching in the sports industry, right? So, you know, for me, there was that little bit of, you know, helping people and things like that. But when it comes to the business, you know, it's so much more than just time, you know, time and financial freedom. It's, you know, if I can, you know, some of the messages that I've been getting in the past 2 weeks have, you know, actually made me tear up, to be honest with you. You know, I get messages from, you know, I have a couple in my team from New Zealand and you know, they were able to officially retire their cleaning business business of 5 years within 21 days. So they're going to do about $30,000 New Zealand in their first month. But, to hear that, when they rang me and told me that, and then, the testimonials that I'm getting almost every morning now, it's, you've helped me change my life. I'm on the right track. I'm watching the training. I've got, access to all these amazing people who hold themselves to such a high standard. And, it's helped me so quickly on my journey, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And seeing those messages and getting those phone calls just brighten me up. And, they make me believe that I'm actually, this is my purpose in life, right? This is what I'm here to do. I'm here to help people. And, Enagic is my purpose. And I'm just so grateful that I found it at such a young age of 18. But yeah, as the boys say, we're only just warming up, and everyone on the call, we've got so much in store for you all over the next few months. So, yeah, buckle up.
Mate, such a pleasure to have you, James. Thanks for the inspiration. Thanks for the wisdom. And thank you for showing everyone on the call what's possible. You've really lit a fire, and I can't wait to meet you up on the Gold Coast soon.
Yeah, let's do it, brother. Friday night.
Yeah, great having you. Dano, I'm going to pass over to you, then I'm going to close out the call with Jordan. Dano, final words for anyone out there who's feeling like I was 12 months ago, beat up, black pills, a little bit worn out, and a little bit kind of, I was feeling pretty hopeless, to be honest. Felt like I tried everything. What do you say to anyone out there who just knows they need to do something and they're feeling pretty flat?
Yeah, I just say, exactly like I said to you, Dave, just, check out what we're doing. Be a brother, be a mate, be a man of your word, and, reach out to another brother. There's no harm in, putting out an arm of support to be able to help somebody live a better life. And so I say, if you're, got a good work ethic, if you're somebody that has, just that tiny little bit of a fire inside of you to live a better life, reach out to that brother, reach out to somebody that has shared this information with you, and lock arms with them, because where we're going with this company is phenomenal. And I'm just so proud to be a part of this incredible, group, and where we're going in the next 12 months is crazy.
Awesome stuff, Dano. Mate, so grateful for everything you've done the last 12 months. Like we always say, we're just warming up. Things are just kicking off like crazy. It's a movement. It's not even really necessarily just a business. It's a movement that has begun. And we are in this incredible transition phase to a whole new world of endless opportunities, time freedom, financial freedom, great people, being surrounded by great people, powerful stuff. I'm going to pass over to Jordan Potts. He's very close to cracking a major milestone in the business. For those of you who don't know what it is, it's called 6A2. He's very close to hitting a massive milestone in record time. Jordan, your message to anyone out there who needs to do something, who's given up hope, and who just wants to find a better way.
Brother, I'm going to leave everyone with a question. One question that Dan asked me. He said, if you continue the way you are for the next 5 years, are you going to be free? All right. If you continue as you are working your job or your career or your business right now, is it going to set you free in the next 5 years?
Powerful question.
My answer to that was no. And that was my trigger to take action.
And tell us a little bit more about the term burn the ships, where that comes from.
Look, burn the boats. Too many people put one foot in, one foot out. All right. If your energy is 50-50, nothing's going to work. And I would say that 97% of the population will live their entire life 1 foot in, 1 foot out, 50% in, never going truly all in. Now, all in is in the mind. If your subconscious beliefs are holding you back, you set these goals and they hold you back. This is what I repeated for years on years on years, set these big targets and my mind would keep me back. You're always going to self-sabotage. So this is why it's so crucial to work with the people that can help you level up in your mind so that your subconscious mind is aligned with where you're headed. Because otherwise you're going to burn your own boats and end up drowning. You've got to be so clear on your targets. You got to speak your world into action. This is why your language is so important. You got to speak your results into existence and then your actions follow. And when you learn this craft, you'll create. We are master creators. You'll actually create the world you want. Now, people can go, oh, this, whatever. It all comes back to your environment, the support, and the vehicle that you're using. It's that simple. So get a better environment, get support, and use a better vehicle. That's how you get ahead. The wealthy know this. I've just spent a couple of days with my wealth mentor. He's a squillionaire, and he said, it's nice to see you actually understand it, Jordan.
Beautiful, man. Awesome stuff, guys. Look, we could talk all night. Fantastic call tonight. We're going to keep it to under 45 minutes. If you've liked what you've heard tonight and you want to connect with us, please reach out to whoever invited you to the call. But I just want to thank you, three incredible men, for all the support, all the inspiration that you've given me, for the friendship, for the inspiration, especially though, as well at the moment, because we're just about to blow things up to a whole new level. Jordan Potts, legend. Thank you, brother. Daniel Bissaker, legend. Thank you, brother. James Crewz, thank you so much for being on the call tonight. Absolute legend. Good night, everyone. See you soon. Bye for now.